Child, news just broke about DDG and Holly. We're gonna get into Sean P. Diddy. You can't stop me now. They about to stop you right now. All this and more on Another Mother episode 19.
19.
Coffee, tea, or me, yeah. Coffee, tea, or me, yeah. Coffee, tea, or me, yeah. Get up and do the dance with me, yeah.
Early morning, late nights. Flight attendants can't get no rest in flight. Negotiate without receipts. You should let me know if you switch your seat.
Safety. That's
Yeah,
it.
we about
That's
to
all
cut
y'all
it
get.
right there because these
That's all y'all get.
copyright streets have been in my face. Y'all get your coffee, get your tea, get your life. Got big old oatmeal over
I
there.
got oatmeal, man. I ain't had a chance to get nothing all day. Got to get some oatmeal in.
Unprofessional. This is unprofessional right now.
Shoot. Shucks.
Payback, because y'all know I will eat the minute as a flight attendant, okay? He paying back right now. Anyway, guys, I am your host. If you are new to Another Mother, we actually stream every Friday morning at 9 a.m. I'm Lisa Renee, and this is my co-host.
Ant, Wild, Ant, Wheezy, the big black man. That is who I am.
Woo! I create the Zen, and he creates the
Dopamine.
That's right, y'all. Don't quit listening. We ain't forgot, but right now we got to plug what we do because anybody that's in sales, you plug what you do every minute and every second you get, guys. So I don't know if y'all saw my last post. Your girl just got booked in a musical theater production
Word,
in
word,
Atlanta, Georgia. Woo!
word.
So, if I don't get back to you quickly, you know it's just because I'm extremely busy. Because we also have our show Buckle Your Seatbelts, which is July the 26th at the Space in Las Vegas, guys. Showtime is at 8 p.m. sharp. Now, don't
Word.
forget to like, comment, or subscribe. It helps the algorithm get this video out. So we appreciate when you do that, guys. So we got to get into it. We don't got time to mess around. News just broke allegedly about potential allegations of DDG actually wrestling Holly. I can't even wrap my head around this. And I can't wrap my head around this because I absolutely love them both. I am a fan of DDG. I think that kid is, and I don't mean to call him a kid, but he's just much younger to me, and it's more of an adoration for him. I think he is such a dope rapper. I think when it comes to streaming, he does it better than a lot of people. He's made his money capitalizing on things that people are not willing to do, and I admire him for that. The one thing that I love him the most, really though, is how he's such a great father, which is why this is so sad. Anyone who watches DDG, y'all know he loves Halo with everything. He pushes Halo to do some things that we probably wouldn't necessarily do, like drive a car when you're a baby, but he wants to advance his child in so many ways. And then obviously Holly, came out on YouTube, right? Her and her sister Chloe, singing songs, and then they had, all their hits together as a duet. And then Chloe went solo. Holly went on to do movies. One of the biggest one we love her in is The Little Mermaid. But we know that things have been rocky with them. I would say for probably about a year now. What we did not know is that they got into a scuffle. And when she posted on her social media that her tooth was chipped, we didn't know that it had everything to do with DDG, allegedly. Allegedly, he was getting agitated. She was trying to buckle Halo in the car, and they got into this tussle like a wrestling match. She was in the car with Halo. She immediately told his parents, well, his family, what happened. She left the baby with them because she felt like the baby would be safe with them. This is really, if this is true, because again, I can't say it's true or not, it's very new. This is the limited information that I have. If it is true, it is very sad on both parts. It is very sad on both parts. And I do want to say this. Halo is here. We love Halo. I love all the stuff that I see DDG do with Halo just because that's what social media pushes me. I don't see a lot with Haley, a little bit, but not as much with DDG. It pushes a lot of his content actually my way because I think he's more primary when it comes to the social media streets. Let me get it right together. But when you were pregnant, I know you got a lot of negativity, baby, a lot of negativity. This is what people were trying to tell you. This is what the folks in the chat, I know you tried to shut them out. I know you tried to cover your pregnancy, and you had every right, sweetheart, to do that. But this is what people were trying to tell you, because one thing we know, people my age, these relationships, they Google Gaga, all good at the beginning, but it can change at a moment's notice, especially when you don't have the maturity yet for a relationship at a certain magnitude. Not saying you're babies, but you learn and you grow and you evolve as you get older in relationships. And the one thing I want to tell my young girls right now, wrap it up. Do not get pregnant by a guy if you can avoid it at all costs until you got your stuff together. You've lived life a little bit, and that's kind of like your later 20s or your early 30s. Just wait a little bit of time because things can change, and we see that happening right in front of them. I pray you guys can work this out. I have such admiration for both of you guys, and like all of us, we love Halo so much, guys. So I wish you guys all the best. And well, anything you have to say, I know it's really, really new. You just heard about it. So that's
Yeah,
how new it just cracked. So
it's funny. I didn't even realize literally until a couple days ago. It's crazy that DDG. I just got on him. Obviously, I knew Holly had a baby and all
yeah,
that kind of stuff, and but I didn't know. I didn't know exactly who DDG was. I just saw him on an interview with the Breakfast Club. I've been seeing clips recently. Now I don't know if it was an older interview or whatnot, but
yeah,
you know, he seems like a good kid. Like,
yes,
and I'm saying kid. I think he's like 27, but
right,
kind of like what Lisa was saying. Like, seems like a good kid. Like, Charlemagne had got on him about why'd he let I think he has a song with the baby, and he was like, why'd you let the
right,
baby smoke you like that on your own
right.
record? And
His new
he took it
album.
in stride and had a good sense of humor about it.
Yes,
Like, what I mean, like, seems like a good cool cat, so definitely just want to, kind of highlight what Lisa said from that standpoint on both ends. Like, it's really easy to have people your viewpoint tarnished, right? And that doesn't mean you got to do whatever people say. We're all human.
yes,
Things are going to happen. Nobody's going to be perfect. People are going to think what they want to think. But it is very important to me personally. I don't know what that's like, growing up in a household. I've never seen any of that. You know what I'm saying? I was fortunate enough to have both of my parents there the whole time. I don't even know if Chuck even raised his voice to him. Now, I know he got pissed at times. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Let me not front like he was an angel. I know he got pissed at his queen and definitely, expressed certain things. But as far as like that anger that I think a lot of men have when they get in that state towards a woman and maybe assert their dominance, and I'm not saying that happened at all.
yeah,
DDG, I'm just like Lisa said, these are alleged stories. I don't know. I wasn't there, all the kind of stuff. But it is very important to, just be mindful of I mean, it's the mother of your child and you guys are together, right? So at the end of the day, you just got to be mindful how you proceed through that situation. Again, I love young couple that's together, cool, especially young black couple
absolutely.
together.
Yeah,
She did the Little Mermaid. She was in the Color Purple. Like, they were, I liked them. Some of their music, they're from Atlanta, good, pretty black girls. Like, what I mean, and you got you a winner. At least outside looking in. At least for me, I'm looking like, oh man,
yeah,
if you was like a younger relative of mine or whatever, I'd be like encouraging that. Like, yo, salute to you, man. Good on you. You know what I mean? And if things are getting to a point, like I say, if things are getting to a point where you start to see red, then you got to reevaluate that whole situation because either there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with her from the standpoint of her making you get to that point. If she knows your hot buttons and she continuously gets you to that point where you start seeing red, then she's not good for you. If you start seeing red simply because you have a disagreement or whatnot, then you need to check yourself and do whatever you got to do to get help. Either way, that situation is not good for you. So that's just kind of my advice on the whole thing. It's just don't want to see it. And I
Absolutely.
hope y'all work it out. It doesn't scar you for life. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean, they say once a cheater, always a cheater. Don't really necessarily agree with that. I'm not a cheater, but I'm still not going to judge somebody who is, right? So I don't agree with that. Once a beater, always a beater. That's another thing. I don't agree with that either. Again, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm saying just be mindful of your situation. If there's help that you need, get the help that you need. If the situation isn't cool, it ain't worth it. I don't care how pretty she is.
We're going to keep it moving because we have a big operational meeting tonight for Buckle Your Seatbelt. So let's get into the Sean Diddy trial, day 1, day 2. And I'm not going to go into all the graphics because from monetization reasons, also it's just so graphic, I don't even want to talk about. Obviously, Cassie has been on, she's been, what do you call that? She's been what is the seat you call when you're being not cross-examined, but she's on trial right now. Not
She's
she's on trial, but you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, she's
She's being cross-examined and all of that stuff right now,
right.
right? There's another
Hmm.
word I'm looking for. It hasn't come to me yet because I've been flying y'all for about 6 hours. So my brain is delirious, like most flight attendants. They would know exactly why my brain is doing what it's doing. But anyway, right now they are questioning Cassie about everything that's been going on. Let me put this in a frame. His family has been there to support. His daughters have walked out on certain points because it is extremely graphic. Personally, I don't even know why he would have his family there, especially his daughters. I can understand his mother because his mother is very familiar and aware of a lot of things that was going on. But when it comes to your children, me personally, Sean Diddy, love him for his music, his business sense. As far as his parenting skills right now, I ain't feeling him. I think it's
Mm,
very selfish to have your
mm,
children in there. I know you need the support, but your daughters who are women do not need to hear and see about you putting your hands on a woman, doing explicit acts on a woman, even
mm,
whether it's true or not. They don't need to hear those specific details about what happens in our bedroom as parents. You are
mm,
mentally damaging your children, Sean.
mm-hmm,
Like that should have been a call that you go, I don't want my girls and my children to hear this. But because you want the support and you want to do this united front, to me, this is just a little bit selfish on your part because we're talking about graphic details of, Cassie being having someone to do number 1 on her. We're talking about details of trains being ran on her. We're talking about after being had hands put on her to come back out there to fall in a guy's arm to then start kissing him and starting all over again while Sean is in the back watching and touching himself and getting off on stuff like that. It is absolutely disgusting the situation that is happening right now. And this is another thing. This is kind of aligning young girls because this happened to Cassie while she is young. I am telling you, baby, from experience, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And if you stay in a bad situation longer than need be, it's going to be harder to get out. So if you are in a situation that is similar to this and your gut feels that something's not right, I am encouraging you to try and get out. Nothing good is going to come from it. People will make all these lies, tell you all these things. When people say they're going to do something, their action will produce fruit. Let me say that again. When people say they're going to do something, their actions will produce fruit. If their action is producing a dud, look at the dud for what it is and exit. Or your life can be similar to, like we talked about, Holly. Now she has a baby, extra responsibility, baby daddy issues right now. Or Cassie, a woman whose body has been through more things than we can even imagine. They talked about health records. You know, we don't know what health things allegedly that she could be dealing with because of this. Leave these negative people alone. And this goes for men or women because it can be both ways. There's some treacherous women out there too, as well. I don't know which way this case is going to go, but it's pretty bad right now. It's looking a lot R. Kelly, a lot of similarities with P. Diddy, but we'll keep talking about it. We'll keep reporting on it. But these few details, I shared some stuff. I can't really go into too much because the video, YouTube is not having it if we go. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get it monetized now just with some of the things I said, but it's just really sad and it's very unfortunate to a mogul who I really looked up to and I really admire. And wow.
Yeah, very, very detailed accounts, and I didn't even get a chance to hear everything. And then a lot of stuff I was hearing, just well, like you said, for the sake of purposes or whatever, just keeping it on a broad scope and echoing everything you said. It's not worth it. In the words of Kendrick, I don't care how much money you get. It's not enough. Like, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
it's not enough. Like, it doesn't matter. I just wonder, like, for Cassie, every time this comes up and then, she has to relive it and then the details and all the kind of stuff and being in it for so long. Like, she wasn't even 21 when she met him. Like, there's a 17-year difference. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that means at the time that she met him, Diddy had almost been in the game 17 years,
Hmm.
right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Like Diddy was 2021, coming from Howard and interning for Andre Harrell, RIP, and all that kind of stuff at the age she was when she met him. So that's 16, 17 years of experience. From the time that he started at Andre Harrell's office to the time he met Cassie, look at the ground he covered. And guess what? A lot of the swirlings were already happening then,
That's
right?
true.
They were
That's
already happening then. They were happening 20 years ago. They were already happening. You know what I mean? So I say that to say, it's just very unfortunate in Cassie's situation because I just couldn't, I just can't imagine what that would be like every day to have to deal. Like, kudos to the guy that's with her,
yeah.
right?
I know.
Kudos. Like kudos to the gentleman. I can't think of his name right now. If you ever watch it, I'm sorry, and I don't want to take the time to look it
A
up. But
personal
kudos,
trainer. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to the guy that's with her, man. That takes a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And not only to be with you, I mean, not only to support you, all that kind of stuff, be your friend, all that, but to say that you want to be with this person and you're committed to this person and you only want to be intimate with this person, all the things that come with relationship,
Yeah.
considering everything that she's been through, man, kudos to you. That's a big
That's
that's a
big.
big that's a big weight to carry, right? Because you have
Absolutely.
to do a lot. You got to be strong a lot,
Yeah.
right? And you may not have you got to create your own outlets because you're dealing with somebody who's already has enough. So you don't want to put a lot on her plate. Kudos to you, because I could only imagine what she's having to deal with every day anyway, right? And then let alone you don't know who's there's a lot that comes with it. You don't know when you're
Yeah.
walking down the street. You don't know, you know, it took a while for them to get Diddy based on the power that he's had. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how long that extends. You don't know, so just shout out to the dude that's with her.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel bad for her. Because obviously the video is what, 8 years ago? I mean, that's
Yeah.
8 years ago,
About 8 or 7
right?
years. Yeah.
Like that means this has been going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the video is just something that happened. We happen to see 8 years later. So imagine all the stuff that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? The way that she's able to, just go into details on a lot of stuff. Uh, just very unfortunate. And then the spell you would have to be under to stay there the whole time, or maybe you couldn't leave, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you couldn't. Maybe
Yeah.
you tried, right?
Yeah.
It's all kind of stuff going on in there. And then you see old interviews, and then when they ask her certain questions, you see the way he looks at her, and looks at her like, man, you better not spill the beans, and like,
Yeah.
how has it been, and all that kind of stuff. I remember there was one, and and he just like the way he looked at her, and then when she just answered, oh, everything's been great, there was like a relief on him, like, okay,
Hmm.
you better not. So it's just unfortunate, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I do agree. I mean, I don't know how old his daughters are, but doesn't really matter from the standpoint of whether they're young, it's super traumatizing. If they're
Yeah.
older, it's super traumatizing because now they're looking at it from the standpoint of the age they are
They're
now
18
at the
years old. So they're around the age that Cassie was when she met Diddy.
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So not only are you exposing them to this, but now you're not really doing yourself any favors in relation to, in my opinion, right? I don't know what goes on in the household, but in my opinion, I don't think you're doing yourself a lot of favors with respect to the perspective your daughters, because this whole time they may be having this perspective on you, Cassie's this, X, Y, and Z. They may still have that perspective, but behind closed doors, there's something that they got to deal with internally where they got to be like, dang, this stuff is wicked. That's an elaborate, it's kind of like the phrase, like, who can make all this up? Like, that's an elaborate thing to make up. You know what I mean? So, um, all I can do is just send prayers to everyone involved as far as everyone, because and it's only getting started. It's only days 1 and 2. So there's going to be a lot
Absolutely.
more I'm sure we'll be talking about in the
Yeah.
days to come.
Absolutely. Guys, the summer is coming up. Labor Day is approaching us. We are going to talk about a calorie deficit. And you may want to know, what is a calorie deficit? We want to make sure you get your summer body ready, looking good, all that stuff. Basically, a calorie deficit is like taking 500 to 1,000 calories and reducing that to either lose weight or gain weight. So to calculate your daily calorie needs, you can use formulas like the Harris-Benedict equation or the Mifflin-St. Jean equation, which considers your basal, what's that basal? Am I pronouncing that right? Your basic
Basil?
metabolic rate and activity level. What was it, Ace?
No, no, no. I was just
It
saying,
was
yeah, you
right.
were saying it right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, you're right, because my brain is so tired right now. Your BMR is the number of calorie your body needs at rest to maintain like your vital functions like breathing, circulation, and cell production. And by multiplying your BMR by your activity level, you can kind of estimate the total number of calories you need each day to maintain your weight. So look at it like this: weight in kilograms times 30, right? And then this formula is like a rough estimate and it assumes the moderate activity level. It provides a quick way to calculate your daily calorie needs without getting to the specifics of your BMR and activity factors. Once you get that number, you go ahead and you subtract, aiming to lose weight between 500 to 100 calories from your maintenance. So when I did it, guys, and wow, I was at 1432. So that is like, for me to cut weight, I have to stay at 1432. But you also can do an average of how many calories you eat in 7 days. Like if you have a day where you eat a little bit more and a day you eat a little bit less, you want to use certain apps to tell you what your daily average is. So that's a way that you can kind of hit it too. So get ready for your summer body. Aunt Wow, anything on that?
Get ready for, I need to do mine, but yeah, I've been definitely, yeah, get ready for your summer body. Get your intervals up as far as how you eat. Very, very important. And in monitoring your nutrition, me and a good friend of mine were talking about this the other day. A lot of times, calorie, what all the stuff Lisa said is gold. Obviously, it'll depend with everybody. Lisa's about, 4'6", so what I'm saying, she's gonna need less than somebody who's 6'4" like myself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
He's such a
So,
story.
but yeah, so, definitely those are definitely good guides, good monitors. You definitely want to start your day off simple, simple things. You know, what I mean, I'll say this little stuff and we can move on. But simple stuff. Start your days off with, if you can, fruits, vegetables, some sort of superpower food, if you
Mhm.
will, with not a lot of ingredients. I think we were talking about that.
Yeah.
With not a lot of ingredients, very simple ingredients.
Mhm.
That actually sets your body up to fuel and process things a certain way. Even
Mhm.
before each meal, I try, I mean, 90% of the time I'm going to eat me a piece of fruit or something, or even if we're having vegetables or a salad, I'm going to lead with that. That way you fill your body with that roughage or all those things. So now when the food comes in, your body kind of has a better idea what to do with it, as opposed to waking up and just eating some bull crap. Guilty. I used to be bad at that. Like, but I was younger. Your body could do things. As you get older, your body can't process things a certain way. So calorie watching, definitely a good thing. Meal intake, definitely a good thing. And then when you work out, even on the simplest workouts, do research on the workouts that'll keep your body burning fat even after you're done working out. That's why cross training and those kind of exercises are really good because it keeps your body in that metabolic state to where it continues to burn even when you're not working out, which also helps your whole journey to the summer bod as we're approaching Memorial Day and all the kinds of things. So, yeah, definitely on the health tip. Get yourself together, be out there, be sexy, and bring your sexy back.
Get your sexy on.
Get your sexy
Exactly.
on and bring it back.
Yeah, and Wild be doing it. He be hitting them burpees like he used to do like
Hey,
100 daily, y'all.
hey,
Daily.
hey, hey,
I used to
hey.
fall out after about 5 of them.
That's
Them burpees, where you gotta one day do it for him and show him at
Oh
Wow.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's that he's right. He does that. So when he's talking about the interval training and the activity, because he has been doing that for years and
For
very
sure.
calorie deficit, he would get like a burrito, and that would literally be his meal. He might do like a milk muscle. He
Yeah.
used to use milk muscle back in the day all the time. So he really, really, I don't know why he never went to be a personal trainer because he's always been into that guy. So let's move on. Just because we talked about we're a little bit short with time. So Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, is it Shumpert?
Shumpert, yeah.
Shumpert. Okay, they are currently undergoing a contentious divorce, unfortunately. Such a beautiful couple. Right now, Iman is alleging that Taylor violated the terms of their divorce agreement and is seeking jail time and a fine for her, citing actions that claims he has been harmful to the children and himself. Um, Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's stating when that's happened. Because I don't know. I know Teyana said that he was very jealous of her fame and that he treated her very, excuse me, very bad. She also is saying that he leaked their divorce settlement details. So to say what he's saying, I'm just really, really confused. And what I will tell men, you might be mad at the mother of your children if you decide to go another way, but still remember that she is the mother of your child or your children, meaning that any type of thing you do to her can potentially trickle down to your child. So, Iman, for you to want her to go to jail, let's just say she told something to someone else. Let's just say if she really did do that, you would really want her to go to jail for that? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
jail time to be taken away from you guys' two beautiful daughters. Like this to me seems a little bit deeper than just her violating the terms of the divorce agreement. And again, we're gonna keep. I'm gonna connect the dots. Holly, Cassie, and now Teyana. If you guys don't realize relationships, how they look one day, they can phase into something different over time. So you have got to be mindful who you have children by, who you say I do by, who you want to prance online by. Because as you can see, 3 different people, same result. It's a mess. It's a mess with Holly and DDG. It is a mess with Cassie and Sean P. Diddy. And now it is a mess with Iman and Teyana. And don't think that you are invincible. It has happened to me. It has
Mm.
happened to Aunt Wow. And it can
Facts.
happen to you. Be mindful. Aunt Wow, anything to say about this?
I just don't like it because I really liked them together.
I
I really liked them together. From what I understood, which I concur with everything you say, but what I understood was by him saying that she's in contempt by talking about, I guess, certain situations regarding their divorce and what happened. Like she was talking about the properties and who, all that kind of stuff. I guess that has her in contempt. I mean, yeah, it has her in contempt. And then as a result of that contempt, then the punishment is 20 days in jail. So the headline, which it doesn't negate the headline, but obviously, but again, right, it actually leads into your point. The Iman wants Teyana to go to jail. Well, what his side is saying is, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying she's in contempt. But by you saying in contempt, the punishment of that is that she's going to go to jail
jail
for
or
20
fine.
days.
Be fined or jail. Yeah.
And first of all, you don't want that from somebody that It's the mother of your children that you is your ex-wife, all those kinds of things. Secondly, this goes for everybody. I'll speak a little more on the man side from this standpoint because I this happens a lot sometimes. You're with somebody, you're not with that person no more, and now all of a sudden they're the worst person who ever walked Earth, right? Well, what does that say about you?
Mm,
Because you decided to be with the person.
mm-hmm.
So I think it's mindful. Like we all have situations. Lisa has her, like she said, she's hey, definitely has her situation where I definitely have my situation. Everybody got that one, right? You know what I'm saying? We all have the situations where regardless of however it ended, regardless of however I may have felt at the time, regardless, however, of wherever I was like, you know what, cool, you go that way, this way, or however that ended up working out, it would behoove me to run around and start talking a whole bunch of crazy stuff about her because I'm the one who chose to be with her for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff, like we got to get back to the basics on that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that kind of stuff we need to leave in house. Now, I understand you guys are celebrity couple and all that kind of stuff, but I seen a clip of an interview with Joy Taylor either yesterday and the day before, and she said that she won't do a public relationship again. Meaning, even if she's with somebody, and even if that person is public, when asked if she's with somebody, she just kind of plead the fifth because she doesn't want to have to deal with all this. Now, I know some stuff is unavoidable, but I understood what she was saying from that standpoint. Like, she doesn't want to have to deal with all of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a whole lot of stuff that comes with it. And the reality of it is, for the most part, the more your house is kept solid, the easier it is to manage that relationship. That's in everything. That's especially in an intimate relationship, right? There's some things that are unavoidable, right? Aisha and Steph Curry, it's unavoidable. Steph Curry is one of the biggest names in sports in the world and all that kind of stuff. Aisha is now doing all her own things in the comfort food and all that space and all that kind of stuff. All those things, they've both have taking their individual, they're doing their individual thing. Obviously they're together, they're a couple, they have I think 4 beautiful children now, all the kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you don't really hear a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I'm saying. Like you don't really hear a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Michelle and Barack. I mean, it doesn't get that much bigger than that. You don't really hear a whole lot. LeBron and Savannah. You don't even really hear a whole lot. Even with I was trying to think of a couple that's not together anymore. But the more you can it goes back to everything Lisa was saying, right? With all the people, you got to pay attention. You can't avoid everything, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Again, I've definitely made them. Lisa's made them, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But there is something to be said when you move in a space of intention and purpose from the standpoint of how you want this to look.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're with that person, a lot of times I judge people, especially in relationships, because that's what we're talking about as we're going through the courting process, even as we're, tightening our thing and getting together, one of the things I look for is if this were to go south, how would this person be?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm like, yo, this person's still going to be super duper solid. If I'm like, yo, we have kids and I know it doesn't matter what happens, that she's going to allow me to be a father to my kids and X, Y, and Z and all this kind of stuff. That's for me is one of the things where I'm like, okay, this one's solid. I know at the end of the day, we're going to have a solid situation regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
Right. So I think a lot of times we need to start paying attention to that, whether this applies to all the three situations. I know, obviously with Holly and DDG,
Mm-hmm.
Cassie and Diddy, Teyana and Iman, she's saying Iman was jealous or whatever, whatever. I actually really liked y'all together. From a man, I understood exactly why you were with Teyana for sure. But I like Teyana, like I understood why you guys were together.
Yeah.
Um, But if there were red flags, if I don't know if this is true or not, but if Teyana saying that Iman was jealous of her fame, that was probably showing itself a little early on.
Hmm.
So, it's just stuff like that. We just need to be more, we need to pay more attention, especially with us, because a lot of times it's us in the news with these kinds of things that go on, especially when we break up and now all of a sudden it's this big tisk. And guess what? The world comes in and they love to come in and sell it because we're easy to sell because we're always in conflict.
Hmm.
So we
Yeah.
just got to step up our whole thing when it comes to that.
Absolutely, guys. And yet again, watch the pattern. Tory Lanez, unfortunately, was hospitalized on Monday after being STABBED at the California prison, where he is serving 10 years for SHOOTING, fellow musician Megan Thee Stallion. A message posted to Lane's official Instagram account said that he was STABBED 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. It said both of his lungs had collapsed, but his condition was improving. He is now, thank God, breathing on his own. Despite being in some pain, he is talking normally, he's in good spirits, and he's deeply thankful to God that he's pulling through. So, how does this tie in? Because you're like, what are you talking about? Okay, so we talked about Halle DDG. She's accusing him allegedly of abusing her. Cassie is accusing P. Diddy of abusing her. Teyana is accusing Iman of treating her cruelly. Meg the Stallion was messing around with Tory Lanez and found out that he was messing around with her girlfriend, and then she ends up with her foot being shot. Like, see what we're saying about these relationships. But to talk about his injuries and what happened, nothing constitute, despite what happened with him and Megan Thee Stallion, nothing constitutes somebody doing this to a person. To be stabbed 14 times, I don't know what led up to it. I don't know if he got into an altercation with somebody. Who knows? But this is pretty sad and it's pretty unfortunate. And it should make us all realize how precious life is. Don't underestimate what can or cannot happen to you. Tory was just like any other guy. There's many guys that are locked up, but they ain't been stabbed. But he was. And we don't know if it was retaliation because of Meg. Who knows? Allegedly. I'm just saying, we don't know what causes it. The moral to the story is be mindful who you mess around with. That should be our theme for Another Mother because it can turn out to not be good. So prayers, healing energy to Tory Lanez. I really hope you heal. You were a good rapper. You really put, Canada on the board along with Drake. And this is unfortunate. Ace? Oh, I'm
Yeah, I don't have a lot to
confused.
say. I don't have a lot to say.
I know it's deep. I know it's
Yeah, I don't
deep.
have a
That's a
lot to
lot.
say. Just
Yeah.
unfortunate circumstances. Prayers up to you. That is 14 times. Wow.
Hmm.
We definitely need to increase our awareness and our conflict resolution skills.
Yes.
For sure. We are bad at it. We are definitely depicted as the worst at it. Even if we aren't the worst at it, we are depicted at the worst at it, and as a result, we need to be more mindful. So prayers up. Nobody deserves that. That's terrible. I mean, and all the places yeah. So just yeah, it's too deep to cut short. So I'm just gonna say prayers up, and you know, we'll
Yeah.
probably circle back to it in another
Yeah. Yeah.
situation. But yeah, that's I wonder how Megan feels about that, right? Like,
Mhm.
right, like I hope I don't see any kind of gloating from that because
Yeah.
now the eye can turn to you because everybody's looking for a motive, right? So might want to be careful because we don't know what incited it. All we can do being on this situation is go back to, well, he's in because of this person. This person does have a lot of money. She does have a lot of connections. I'm not implicating that at all. I'm just saying the I hope I don't see any gloating because it's in bad taste and it wouldn't be a good look for you. So
Absolutely, because there's nothing in good taste of someone, having that happen to them. I agree with you 100% on everything that you said. And then we're going to get into this last news, and then we'll have a sports update, and we'll end with our inspirational for the day. So Lil Wayne, ex-girlfriend, Denise Badat made a series of accusations against him on social media, alleging that he abruptly ended their relationship and orchestrated her swift removal from their home. And she basically went on social media because, you know, that's the news outlet now. We don't pick up the phone and call mama or our friends. We go to social media. And she basically said, Wayne literally kicked me and my daughter out on Mother's Day. She said a video posted to her Instagram on May the 11th would featured her daughter. Again, parents, I don't know if our kids should be involved in this because, like Aunt Wow just talked about, as far as conflict resolution, I don't know if this is a way that I want my child to go. But anyway, she was featured in the video. She also said she's just recovering from surgery. I can't even lift boxes. But this man has his assistants coming to help kick us out today. What I will say is, and she said also that she was trying to keep, you know, just a positive mindset. And that's the best thing you really can do. I just wish that her daughter wasn't a part of this because I don't know if it's something that I would have went to social media for. But again, that's her business, how she wants to do things. But again, guys, you see the correlation? Yet another relationship that looked fine. We used to see Denise with Lil Wayne, and now it's went to kapoots. And I can say, even though he orchestrated this, how it happened on Mother's Day, probably not the best thing from a mother. I'm a mother, so I hate to hear that she had to go through that on Mother's Day. However, this was boiling already. This was boiling. Something happened. We don't know all the facts. I haven't heard from Lil Wayne. I don't know if Aunt Wow's heard from Lil Wayne. I haven't heard a response from him. But what I can tell you, this is not something that happened on Mother's Day. This is something that led up to it. And there's more pieces to the puzzle that led up to her being escorted out his house. And again, guys, I didn't say it till I'm blue in the face. These relationships seem one way, they can change at a moment's notice. So always have your stuff together. Keep money in your bank, keep a job. Don't depend on somebody 100%. That way, if things don't go awry, you can swiftly move on your way. Your heart may be hurting, all of that, but you'll have money in your bank to be able to eat, put a down payment down or whatever so that you can move on with your life. Don't ever put all your eggs in one person because you can see we've talked about 4 couples and it's came to the left and it's not good. And it's not good to a mother on Mother's Day having to leave a house. That's probably the worst feeling ever for a mother. So prayers out to Denise. I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I know that there's more to the story. And to be fair to Lil Wayne, someone who absolutely admires his work, I want to hear more of his side of the story if he ever says or shares what happened. But that is really unfortunate that that happened.
The daughter that she has, that's not Wayne's, right?
No, I don't think so.
No,
No, not at
no,
all.
okay. Um, Not the best look. But that doesn't mean anything because we don't know anything, right?
Right.
So, it's definitely unfortunate for Wayne from the standpoint of happening on Mother's Day. Um, and she went to social media.
Yeah, she went to social media.
She's the one who went to social
Yeah,
media.
she did.
So, again, you know, um, I would be very, very surprised, if anyone, that I had a certain intimate relation connect, like that we're together like that. If something were, I'd be very, very surprised if the one of the first places they went to was social media. I'd be
Yeah,
very, very surprised
yeah,
because I'm not really interested in being with somebody who's gonna feel the need to run the social media. See what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, so that's kind of my thing. Mother's Day is not a good look, but who knows what happened, right? We have no idea. So
yeah,
it's very convenient, for the sympathy part of it. It's very convenient for me to sit here and say, oh man, not a good look, dog. You know what I'm saying? You kicking her out on Mother's Day, man. This is not cool. Come on, man. You got to be better than that. And that may turn out to be very true. But a lot of times, with somebody like Wayne, you know what I'm saying? Again, another brother, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Another brother in the news, you know what I mean, who a lot of people admire. I certainly am one of them, especially as far as his, you know me, hip hop is that's kind of my weak spot, you know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I mean? But that's kind of my, hey, you do good music. I mean, even with Robert, you know what I'm saying? Robert Kelly, you know what I mean? Like, hey, he lasted a lot longer than he probably should have in my playlist because the music he made is phenomenal.
Right.
So I understand that doesn't make it right, which is why I've exercised different practices when it comes to certain people. I'm like, man, I can't continue to support, whoever that is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say that to say, so it's once again, we got another brother out here looking terrible. Now, you could be terrible. You know what I mean? It could be, you kicking her out. She just had surgery. That's definitely not a good look. People coming to, you know, I obviously feel like there's probably a better way to do that, but we don't know the whole story. We don't know everything that's going on. But definitely we got to start being careful out here. Um, because you shouldn't be in a situation where you have to feel like you kick somebody out on Mother's Day, and then you should, if he kicked you out on Mother's Day, there were probably certain behaviors he did that let you know that he was capable of kicking you out on Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you like you said, you usually call your mamas and your friends and all that kind of stuff. One of the first things you want to do is go to social media. So now is that a setup for a way to what's the purpose of that, right? Like what we go to social media, what you want the public vote, you want people to know this dude's terrible. That kind of logic has always been very peculiar to me. Not even peculiar in a way that I'm doubting anything. It's just always been very like I'm not, something happens to me, the first place I'm not going to social. Matter of fact, social media would probably be the last place that I go to as far as that's concerned. Now I might run to social media and tell you, hey man, I'm going through a lot. Hey man, check out this fire beat. This is the rap. Like I'm coming in. I got a whole thing coming for y'all. I might go do something like that. But as far as to go and say, yo, this person is doing this, I can't believe it. I don't know. Just
It's not.
that whole play is I would kind of steer clear of that. So once again, y'all, like you said, like seems to be the theme of the day. Pay attention, be mindful, and you gotta be careful what you say to me.
All right, guys, we got sports update coming with Aunt Wow, and then we will go into our inspiration of the day.
Sports update. First of all, the NBA playoffs is cracking. Definitely some things we didn't see coming. The Pacers getting the Cavs up out of here in five. Definitely didn't see that coming. Leaves you wondering what's up with the Cavs. They won 64 games and got up out of here in five in the second round by the Pacers. Was up 20, up 20 in three games that they lost and lost three of those four games that they lost. So that's that just overall. But one of the major updates, which is very sad, puts a little bit of damper on it, especially a series that's going down that's off the chain, and that's Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles. He'll definitely be out, obviously, for the rest of the season, and most likely will miss all of next season. So that puts the Celtics in a very peculiar position, especially being the defending champs. And now they're down 3-1 to the hated Knicks, the New York Knickerbockers. Everybody knows the Boston New York rivalry in the sports world. So, tore his Achilles late Monday. Late Monday in that game. So definitely unfortunate. Super prayers and shout outs. Celtics are down 3-1. Don't know if they'll be able to come back. Don't know if they'd be able to come back 3-1 even with Jason Tatum, because in all due fairness to the Knicks, at the time that it happened, it was like 3 minutes left to go, and OG Anunoby had stolen the ball, which is on the play that Jason Tatum tore his Achilles on, went and slammed it, and they were down 9. So I don't know if they would have came back that game anyway, and don't know if they would have came back from a 3-1 deficit, especially the fact that the Celtics had been up in those games as well. They were up 15 in the game that they just lost. They were up 20 in the two games in Boston and lost as well. So I don't know if they'd have been able to come back, but definitely prayers and shout outs. Does put a little gloom on it for one of the brightest stars in the game. So prayers and shout out to Jason Tatum. We'll see what the Celtics can do. See if they can find a way to bring it back. But it's definitely going to be tough. Definitely going to be tough.
Absolutely, guys. And lastly, we wanted to leave you with this. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. And that's by Audrey Hepburn. Just say these words with me. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Everything is possible for me. I'm possible. I am possible. Anything I want to do, anything I put my mind to do, I can do it. So again, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. I'm possible. So do not forget that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video if you care. And wow, last thing, so we can wrap it up.
Nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. And there it is right there. So keep that
Boom.
with you. Keep that tucked inside you. Pause, I guess. I don't know. But keep that with you and take that with you everywhere because your world is literally defined by your world. So
It
you make it however you want. We all have our own drawing. We all paint our own canvases. We all have our own crayons. We all have our own pens and pencils to draw whatever we want. You literally are what you believe.
right.
Literally. So if you believe it's possible, then it's possible. If you don't, then you don't.
Anyway, guys, don't forget to get your tickets to buckle your seatbelt. Go to the space in Las Vegas and get your tickets now. We will see you next week, Friday morning at 9 a.m. Blessings to you guys. Bye.